I don't really have to do anything but sit back and just rest, and that feels great. Um, I don't have to go into town. I don't have to pick up any packages. I can, I can tinker around the property a little bit. What's up, Beth? Good morning. Yeah, that is Beth, right? Yeah, that's Beth. I could tinker around the property. I can do all kinds of different stuff. Um, and my old man tonight, there's no real preparation I have to do because we're going to be talking about his subjects, and I'm pretty well versed. Him and I have deep conversations a lot of the time about about the topics that he's interested in. So you guys will just get to hear something along those lines. And for those of you that are Christians, yes, my old man goes to church every Sunday. So um, if you want a Christian point of view versus a non-Christian point of view, this will be your best opportunity for that. Um, but I've got for those of you that are here, and I want to say, mm, that Monday's video that's coming out, because I'm gonna hold it to be released on Monday because I need to let the algorithm catch up to all the other videos that I've released. So I'm gonna starting Monday will be the next series, and it'll go Monday through Friday. Um, w- uh, uh, the first part I stood up till like almost 2 o'clock last night working on that script. It was nice. I got into it, and it's like it's something that I've been trying to say for a long time, but I haven't been able to articulate it as well as I wanted to. And I think it's finally properly articulated in a manner in which will be, because I'm too short with some of the things I say, especially when I give like history or when I give specific knowledge. Um, here on YouTube, I've kind of got to be verbose, I guess the word is. I got to talk a lot, but normally, um, in my own, I prefer not to. That's just kind of the way it is. But anyways, um, how's everybody doing this morning? How are you guys doing? What's your dad's name? Not going to use what Buck. um, he's probably gonna go by Rudiger. Okay, because he's always gone by Rudiger. That's always been his pseudonym. He values his privacy, and so he's always liked Rudiger. He's also an aspiring comedian, but he sucks at it. Nobody's just got the heart to tell him. um, but I mean, he's funny, but trying to do these jokes, like trying to memorize it, just doesn't work for him. It's like me trying to memorize a script. Mm, uh, yeah, Rudiger. All right, and I'll let him know because we're gonna do a test run after the live stream. I'm gonna give him a call, tell him I'm gonna do that. I'll give him a tour of the property, let him see Sam for a minute. Because I know, yeah, he's invested in Sam. Anytime I need something for Sam, I just call him up and he'll help me out. And if I have to pay him back, I pay him back. Um, that's how I got her toy, because she ended up uh she ended up destroying the small little rope that was sent to her. So I bought her a big girthy one, something I'm hoping will last at least a year, because when she gets nervous or super excited, she starts chewing, and so she likes to chew on sticks. But I don't like it in the house because then it just kind of completely destroys the house. Cherokee's here. Okay, what's up, Cherokee? Joanna told me last night that I completely didn't see your comments. Now I saw somebody say, "Hey, what's up?" and say hi. What's up, buddy? I'm sorry I missed you last night. It was by accident. So, okay. What's up, Buck? Nice to see you. Yeah, we're gonna talk about human origins and stuff like that. That's good. But here's um I don't know. Okay. So there's some stuff that I've kind of left out of the script because I need to make it more mainstream and not really put it all out there. As so, for example, um, the what is it? The when the Constitutional Congress happened, when the Constitutional Convention happened, we always hear about the secrecy and how they were being perceived, or they were worried that they would be perceived of committing treason, which is exactly what they did. They committed treason. Um, and by doing that, they created a new document. But what their whole ideology was to create this great American power. And the great American power was created and forged, and we came out of World War II as the global superpower, which is what the original founders, that was their whole idea. I don't know if it was just because they were frustrated. I don't know if it's just the European style of, we need to be the dominant one because we are the best. We're going to show Britain why they should have kept us and listened to us. Kind of like when your parents tell you you'll never amount to anything, and you're like, I'll show you. I think that may have been part of the overall frustration of the founders, stuff that's not really talked about. Or if it is talked about, it's done in a way to where the average person doesn't pick up on it, unless you like follow the linear history of what's going on. And so we're going to be diving into the real reason why we went into the American Civil War, or excuse me, American Revolutionary War, the American Civil War, the War of 1812, um, all of that. It's all one and the same, because something I've been saying for years is our fight wasn't with the British. Our fight was with the Crown Bank of England, and I'm going to really outline that as well. Um, Another thing is uh, that I'm finally getting some evidence of, but it's something that I've read from Meyer, is that the West, for the first time in 500 years, has not had a seat at the reorganization of world powers. Because as they rise and as they fall and stuff like that, the West for the last 500 years has had a seat. Well, this is the first time in 500 years that the West has not had it. And I was listening to the history, in an interview, and it's quite interesting. Like, China didn't necessarily rule the world for 2,000 years, but they unified and they created a long-standing culture. We're like infants, and we just hit our terrible twos. Okay, and as soon as we get out of our terrible twos and we start to grow and mature as a society, and understand what it means to be a leader in the globe versus what was done European style. Uh, I think that we'll mature as a nation and we will rise to power again. But I think that this is our downfall, and this is an opportunity for us as a society, in the same way that the East had to reevaluate themselves, and reintegrate themselves back into the global player market by uh what was it by um uh, uh by reasserting themselves. And so I think that the United States as a power and stuff like that, that's going to be something that we that we're gonna have to just get used to. And we're the generation that gets to watch it fall. We're not the generation that gets to ride out and have all the good times. We get to hear stories of the good times, but this is the end. And something that was kind of reassuring to me was that China, over its 2,000 year of unification, did split and fracture from time to time, but it reunified again. So even if we split and we fracture as a nation, um we will still come back together and reunify over time. I think that will end up eventually happening, because there will be, the local history about, hey, America needs to, um okay, I'm rebel zone. Okay, yeah, back question, going back to start. Oh, okay. That's good. Okay. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I already did that. Okay. Okay. Nice to see you. Okay. Um, if you guys want to steer the subject, like I said, I have not had any real rest. Like, even though I'm not doing content and I'm trying to rest in between, I haven't had any real rest since oh, I haven't had any rest in almost 3 weeks. So my brain and everything else is um uh uh my brain is still kind of like foggy, and like I'm still half asleep. Like I didn't get but like 5 hours sleep last night. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm kind of, I don't know. This is okay. So this is a lesson I learned when I had my janitorial business. We went like month and a half without a day off, and I didn't think anything of it because I'm a workaholic. I love to work. I'll work every day. I love to work. I like to be busy, and so what I ended up, we just, anytime a job would call, well, we were doing 7 days a week for, well over a month. And I started like, I couldn't even walk straight after a while. Like I would start running into walls. I had so many bruises up and down my legs because I kept falling upstairs. Like that was the first time I really got to feel real exhaustion. Um, and it was kind of a wake up call because after about I don't know, like 7 or 8, maybe 10 falls and bruises and all kinds of stuff like that, I finally said, you know what, I gotta start turning down appointments. We take 1 day a week off. She was still pissed at me, but take 1 day a week off, and and that way I can at least rest and recoup and let my body recharge, and not focus on doing anything. Because the thing is like me, I feel fresh, but because I like to go, 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 go. I'm used to fatigue. I'm used to being tired and all that other stuff. So it just, I don't know. For me, it's different, I guess. So yeah, when I get tired, I start getting sloppy. Even though I have the energy and the want to keep going, my body kind of just revolts on me and says, "No, we're not going to do that anymore. We're not going to do that anymore at all." So, dude, I truly believe you got to get the rest needed. Yeah, I know, Beth. Um, who was pissed at you for taking 1 day off? No, she wasn't pissed off at me for taking 1 day off. She was pissed off at me that I wasn't giving us 2 days off. She wanted like 2 days off, paid holidays, paid vacation. She thought she was an employee, not my business partner. This was my first business partner. This is why we didn't work out very well. That, and she was very destructive in a house, because, yeah, of culture. It's why I stopped dating Hispanic women. I used to love Hispanic women. Never again. No way. When you date a real Hispanic woman, no way. All right. Mm, mm. All right. So it looks like we really haven't gotten many people that are very interested in this. I guess I'm boring as hell today. I understand because I'm kind of boring the shit out of myself. Thank you guys for being here. You're human. No need to for chipmunk speed. Well, chipmunk speed. I don't know. I okay. Um, my mom. Okay, she was a workaholic, and that's kind of where I pick it up. My work ethic comes from my mom. If they called her in on her day off, she would go in. She was always broke. It wasn't because she wasn't making a lot of money or enough money. It was because she was always blowing it on anything and everything she possibly could. And it's like, okay, I get that. Um, but uh, it, I don't know. It just, I picked it up from her. It's like never turn down an opportunity to go to work. And in most instances, unless it's an unfair trade, I will take the work regardless because that's why I was raised. Don't turn down work. And if you turn down work, you better have a good reason to turn down work, and it better be damn good. And so, um, that's why I can, that was ingrained in me because my mom was one that tonight. It starts at 5 p.m., so I probably won't be tonight's stream, so you can rest easy. Rest easy. Why is why is that, Bucknut? Um. Oh yeah. Never mind. Yeah. No. Now I understand. Never mind. My brain. It took a minute for it to catch up. Okay. Yeah. Rest easy. I'm thinking. What? No. I'm thinking. Oh shit. No, because I just gave him all this ammunition. Yeah. Well, you may have another opportunity. Enjoy the family. That's more important. That's awful. Oh, oh, you got a fan, Bucknut. You got a fan. Um, but Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight. It's gonna be an easy night. I'm gonna take some time to rest. I probably will end up recording that video today. If I don't, I have to do it tomorrow because I've got to get at least 2 videos ahead. Um, because I want to be able to start creating not only a rest schedule, but to be able to focus more time uh, uh, over on Patreon. So you know what dude, I love Olight. After this O strip, okay, Bucknut, you might want to put your link in the description. Actually, put it in the comments, and I will pin it, Bucknut. That way it's at the top. If anybody wants an Olight or whatever, I can just pin it as a comment so people can see it there. So if you want to do that for your affiliate links for your Olight stuff, that would be awesome. Um, but anyways, um, uh, 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 yeah, I love Olight though. I absolutely love Olight. I think the Olight is awesome. Yes, so it will be there when I'm ready. Yes, because yeah, the chat never I have to go set it up. I have to go set it up in the thing. Now tonight though, I am probably going to make it members only. Um, for a couple of reasons. One, my old man, I don't want to get him riled up too much because then YouTube will censor me. I have 4 test lights coming today. Man, you are so lucky. Hopefully I develop relationships like that over time. Um, I don't know. Today, I know I want to take a nap sometime. I need to take at least an hour or 2 nap. Um, put it in the comment section, Bucknut, not in the chat. That way I can pin it. I don't know if you did, but because the thing is that the after chat doesn't show up. The only thing that shows up is whatever's in the comments or the description. So yeah, that way, because yeah, nobody gets to yeah. So thank you, Bucknut. Mm, all right. Um, but yeah, I love the Olight. I think honestly that's one of my favorite things. I think uh 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 I don't know. We gotta drum up some more interest in that so that we can get Bucknut some commission so that he can actually get some commission off of this. Because honestly, I really appreciate the Olights that he sends me, and I like when I buy next. If I buy any lighting, it's gonna be Olight. Because one of the things that I really like about it is that their programs or their lights that are that you can connect to using your phone. It's all in one app, and it's also the same app that you're using your purchases for. So you don't need extra apps. You don't need this. You don't need that. It's all in one thing. And if you're trying to kind of have everything uniform and not have a lot of clutter on your phone, it's really nice. I really enjoy it. But yes, Olights are awesome. I will tell you, I love my Olight strip. I think that's one of my favorite things. I turn it on. I'm gonna I'm gonna have to change the color though, because I think the color key is what's kind of amping me up because I was so tired last night I could have gone to bed right after. I just sat there on my phone and I turned the light on and I was like, I'm gonna wait till just a little bit after dark, like 8 or 9 o'clock, and then I'm gonna go to bed. Next thing you know, I'm working on a script till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. But that's just kind of the way it is. All right. Um, yeah, so it'll be there. Yes. Okay. Uh, I should send you a sphere. Um, a sphere would be awesome. I was going to get one. But is that my concern with the sphere is that it may not radiate enough light versus like with the strip, I just kind of put it all around the outside and so therefore it gets it nice and bright. But yeah, I wanted to buy the sphere. I was going to, and I was like, eh, it wasn't even priced. It was more I was looking at what I had and I'm like, well, I got this. This is working. This is good. Um, but yeah, I love the sphere, especially when winter and fall kick in. When we start doing the live streams, I mean, it'll be getting dark in the middle of the live stream, so those lights will be on in the background. Um, and I hope that as I do future recordings and stuff like that, that I can have those lights on in the background more often. There's something I like. I'll just have to remember to change my address back. Hey, you know what, Bucknut? Uh, I will no. Uh, I think they're okay. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut because I can't say it publicly, but yeah, I I I really appreciate your honest mistake. Wink, wink. With the sphere in the dark room. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, that's that it's nice to have because like eventually I want to do a green screen. Um, so yeah. Eventually I wanna have a green screen. That way on windy days, I don't want to go outside. It's cold, it's wet. I can just kind of make it look like I'm outside. You know, that way I don't have to be outside every day. But that'll be nice, but that'll require a lot of lighting too. Um, so having like the O light, having a sphere, um, I don't even at that point in time, I don't even think I would need a ring light at that point because I think those two lights are going to be bright enough for the green screen. Um, but yeah, usually like when you do a green screen, you got to have a lot of lighting. Like they'll be able to see you from space. We'll put it that way because you can't because the problem with green screens is you have to have the screen tight. One and two, you have to um uh 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 you any shadows that are cast screws up the green screen. That's what really sucks about using a green screen because you'll see sometimes you can tell when somebody's using a green screen and their lighting's off because you'll see the little speckles in their on the video and stuff. That's because the green screen or what's the chroma key is having trouble uh, 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 differentiating and it's just there's not enough light going on. The one who may become a uh, my daughter uses one as a nightlight every day. Nice. Yeah, the one that yeah. Um, well, yeah, I think he's only got one at home. I think he said so. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's just it is what it is. But it's a beautiful day. Hey, anybody want to take a walk with me? Type 1 if you want me to take a walk around the property, and we'll go towards the back and stuff like that. Um, and we'll do a circle. Type 1 if you want me to do the property. Type 2 if you think this is a better view. Uh, you're paying for a kid in college. Well, yeah, of course. Like he's an old man. I mean, he's probably about 75, 80 years old. He's about as old as Methuselah, if not older. Well, no, he's probably Methuselah's grandkid, you know. So, um, okay, let's see here. But yes, okay. Well, one. Hey, what's up, Chris? Nice to see you. Okay. Uh, all right. Let's go. Let's go take a walk around the property. Let's go find Sam first. Take her with us. Oh, all right. Yeah, I didn't do much. I didn't do anything yesterday. I I really gotta get working on this garden though. But I'm not gonna. Okay, so let's walk peg to peg. Samantha, where are you? Come on, baby girl. You wanna go for a walk? You wanna go for a walk? Come on. Let's go for a walk. Yeah, she's learning that she's got to stay on the property. She gets in trouble if she leaves the property. Yeah, where we were, the wind was gone. So, but there we go. There we go. So yeah, I still haven't worked on this. I'm gonna have to work out a fence or something like that for this area here. But see what the wind does? This has all come from everywhere. It's not just. God damn it, dog! You're an asshole, Sam. No, get away from me. She likes to try and take people out. Wow, Tuck puts in hard work moving those dang rocks. Yeah. I'm carrying the tripod. She came by and took it out. She likes to take, she will try and take you out. She like, that was one thing Farm Girl hated about Sam. She likes to run so close and brush up against you and make it look like it was you. So, but I'm hoping we can find the spike, because we were able to find one here, and so we're presuming that, okay, because yeah, this will be like, I will have to do it like from the road here, so the rock formation is there, so yeah, right about here is where, and there's still not even a remnant of a spike. Okay, but yeah, you know, actually, now that I've moved the trailer, I get to see this whole back half of this property, and it's so much different. It completely changes it. Like, once you move your view, it completely changes it. So come on, Sam, let's go. Get over here. Yeah, she likes to, this is her area. This is where the cows like to come hang out. But I've got the very edge of the slope. But this will be nice. I'm looking forward to setting this side. The back half I'm not too worried about, but the front 3 walls are the ones I want to make sure to get. But we've got, so I have a little bit of flat ground here. Like, if anything, like, I think what would be wise, because some of the stuff that I've been seeing about water, check this out. Like, if I'm building my rock gardens here, like if I build a couple here on the slope, instead of like doing a step system, just kind of put it there, so as the water rolls down, it goes into the rocks, and then it can therefore be retained. So therefore the plants would get extra water. And that way I wouldn't have to water them as much. But that would be something, but then I'll have to get me some sort of bucket or whatever. But I want to be able to use as much of this land as possible, not only for my own personal pleasure, like, you know, having places to just kind of sit there and enjoy the look, but also yeah, so let's see here. And so we're here at this rock formation, and that still seems off to me. Not as much as it was originally. It still seems off to me, because yeah, that tree right there, that is where my other one. No, my college age kid is literally sitting next to me working. Oh, cool! Congratulations. Monsoon season like lasts how long? 2 months, Beth. When do you expect the monsoon? July, August. No grow lights. The sphere and strip won't be enough. Had to pause. Sorry, no. Grow lights. The sphere and strip won't be enough. A lantern would be better, maybe. I think I can think on it. Okay. All right. Awesome. Come on, Sam. Let's go. Sam loves exploring, but it almost seems like it's at an angle. But now that I look at it, so okay. Yeah, because I think once I square this edge off, it'll be easier to square that edge off and figure out like what a straight line is. But we have a general idea. I've got an agreed upon, you know, like this is kind of where we think it is. And so until we find evidence otherwise, But basically, I've got 3 of my 4 corners marked. And at that point in time, I would just have to go through a land dispute and have it readjusted or whatever. But there was no spike. So, as you see, yeah, it's right here because you can see that. So, all right. Samantha, let's go. Let's go. Come on. All right. And then back here, as you see, I don't have very much. I don't have very much flat spot, but most of the flat spot is in the front. So something interesting. So this right here, I don't know. I'll be talking about this more when, because I got some plans. I don't want to let it all out of the bag because otherwise, what's the point of being a digital homesteader, right? So if you want my weekly homestead vlog, you'll have to come over to Patreon. Come on, Sam, pay attention. You want to have to come over to Patreon to become a digital homesteader once a week. We do that. But yeah, this kind of helps me gather my my bearings, my dimensions, just to see how big an acre is. Because I mean, you think that an acre is really small, especially after being in a city and being on top of each other. But you got to realize most of those are quarter acres, maybe even some half acres. But nobody really gets a full acre in the city. So that is something to consider. So think of one of those quarter acre lots that you see and multiply that by 4, and now you've got something big, and you get to go deep, and your house isn't basically using up everything instead of being able to strategically place it. So that's the nice thing about having a piece of blank land, is that I get to make it efficient. And considering I'm good at packing things, just because of job function, and plus, living the life I've lived, need a nap, Tuck. You seem to be mentally exhausted. Your speech is off. Yeah. Yeah, that's been my whole problem. That's what I've been talking about. My speech is, yeah, I haven't been able to form a coherent thought in probably 3 days. Could be that you're real speed. No, I don't think it has to do with real speed, because even I notice, even when I'm doing my recordings, man, my mouth and my brain, and like I will start slurring words and stuff. I'm like, wow, it gets really bad. Okay, so in the name of Friar Tuck, or Professor Tuck, is tired, and he wants to go and rest and get his brain back on. Oh yes, Beth. I notice it so bad. I've been dealing with brain damage for since 2011, so almost 15 years, and that alone, I got to almost instantly see the effects. Like, my motor skills started falling apart. Like, for a long time, I couldn't hold on to things. I still can't. Oh, what's up, Craig? Nice to see you, buddy. I couldn't hold on to things. I would be in the middle of a sentence, and I knew what the next word was, and all of a sudden it would go blank, and I couldn't remember what I was saying or what I was about to talk about. You guys get to see it. And it seems like the more exhausted that I get, the harder it is for me to maintain my basic motor skills. And so, yeah, that's just it playing off. And the older I get, because of, just brain deterioration as men, like, next year, when I turn 45, is when my brain is supposed to start shrinking, according to science. So that's something. I'm going to lose even more mental capacity. And so, like, I'm trying to get out as much as I can when I can. but eventually I will probably be like Muhammad Ali. Brain damage explains why you're a Ducks fan. I'll let that one slide. But Bucknut, yeah, I can't wait because my old man. I mean, I was told when I was growing up, you have no choice. You can choose whatever baseball and basketball team you want, but you're a Cowboys fan and a Ducks fan, and those are your choices. Or those are your choices, and they've already been made for you. Now, me, I root against the Cowboys. Um, just for different reasons. What's that, little girl? Just for different reasons. But I am definitely a wholehearted Ducks fan. I'm yeah, that one's by choice. Even my son, when he was born, his receiving blanket was a Ducks blanket. I went to the Ducks store and bought one specifically and said his receiving blanket is going to be this. His choice is made for him, just like mine was made for me. And I didn't force like the Cowboys on him, but I do. He is a Ducks fan because he is an Oregonian. He's born and raised, and so he can either be a Beavers fan, which if he's south of Eugene, he's a Beavers fan. If he's north of Eugene, he's probably a Ducks fan. So that's kind of the way the state is split. I realize your dad was. I'm gonna have to warn him about you, Bucknut. Okay, but mm, mm. Quack quack quack. Yes, the Oregon Ducks are my favorite. I mean, I even like their colors. If you notice, the colors that I use resemble their colors. When I had my houses, I even got the literal paint colors. Um, I got the literal paint colors from what you call it from the store, and I did the trim in the duck gold or the yellow, and then I did the walls in their metallic green. It was really nice. Yeah, everybody hates the fact that I like dark colors, but I think it also has a part to do with the way my eyes work. I see better in low light because I'm a redhead than than most people. Most people see better in highlight. I see better in low light. Like when it's dusk and stuff like that, it's overcast. Like that's when I can actually open my eyes. There's like 18 colors in uniforms. Well, I was just going for the green and gold. No, I wasn't going for all of that extravagant stuff. But yeah, I was just going for the green and gold because that's the primary colors for Oregon. Um, even back in the day, I miss the original Ducks logo with the duck coming through the O. I miss that. That was my favorite. And when they got rid of that, that kind of like, although I like the new uniforms, Nike, yeah, yeah. I'm not, yeah. I dress completely in black. Some folks say hi, Grim Reaper. Um, well, you might be goth too, or an emo kid, or skater punk. I mean, those are the ones that generally wear black. What's funny is if you look at specific groups of people, like let's say skaters, you'll see they all wear the same clothes. If you go look at people that are like HR staff, they generally wear similar clothes. And if you pay attention long enough and you start kind of like connecting the dots and stuff, you can tell almost everything about a person by the way they walk, the way they talk, and the way they dress, without ever having to ask them a question, just by simple observation. And then therefore that gives you the opportunity to break that person down. Hey, what's up, Edward? Nice to see you. Walmart in town. Okay. I don't mind Oregon. That is until they won a meaningful game. BS. The Buckeyes uh, will be a real rivalry. I think so. I don't get to follow college football, but this year when the Ducks and Buckeye play, maybe we'll place a bet and um, yeah, maybe we'll place a bet and see who wins for that game. Because yeah, I'm a diehard Ducks fan. Like I will. I love the Ducks. It's professional sports team. I don't know. I honestly, just to piss my old man off, I want to be a Redskins fan. So, uh, What's up, James? Nice to see you, buddy. Yeah, I don't know. I dress the way I hide. The way to hide in freight train yard. Oh yeah, well of course. That's another way to do it. All right, well nice to see you. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about human origins tonight. We're gonna be talking about it's just gonna be off the wall topics. My old man, I'm very proud of him. You know, being 20 years in the army, he always followed politics. I remember when Clinton put the gag order on the military with the media, listening to him just blow a gasket. Oh man, you want to talk about somebody that was pissed. He absolutely, you know, and quite frankly, with Clinton, everybody that wants to go after Trump for his for his antics and for the stuff that he does. Yeah, that's the pot calling the kettle black. You made it okay because nobody cared that he slept with Monica Lewinsky. And so therefore Clinton set the stage for Trump. And so you can't complain about Trump unless you complain about Clinton. That's just my opinion. Or should we say that's Beth's opinion? I'm gonna be there tonight, good Lord willing. Let's hope so, Edward. I'd like to see you there. I think you'd have fun. My old man, yeah, we'll end up having a good old time. Uh, what's Huff shorts bucknut? Okay, bad taste in women for Clinton. I don't know. Lewinsky wasn't that bad looking. I don't know, but I like dark-haired women. So, um, but yeah, I mean, she was just a fangirl, and he, you know, he married a lesbian. So, I mean, he had to get it somewhere. It really wasn't. I don't even think it was really about. I don't think it was really even about how good she looked or didn't look. It was like it was warm, wet, and willing. That's really what it was. I don't. I think it was just an opportunity. You got a fangirl who absolutely adores him, and so she wants to give it up, and she knows she can't. He just got caught because Ken Starr was looking. And here's where the Republicans messed up. I think we would have had a much different outcome if the Republicans would have um, gone after Clinton for Chinagate, because that's why he was originally being investigated. It had nothing to do with Lewinsky. Now he is a serial offender. There are multiple implications throughout his history as being a governor, running for political office, where he did some things that were extremely inappropriate. Um, that made me trip. Fuck that whole thing up. Yeah. Well, no, they went after the morals because but the thing is we'd already had scandals. We had Nixon, we had Reagan, and then what? Now we got Clinton. This is par for the course, and each one just kind of put the bar up. Hey, what's up, Chris? Each one picked the bar up. But yeah, they should have gone after him for Chinagate, because essentially the reason why the Chinese are able to have the ballistic missile technology that they have, and some of the technology that they have, is because of is because of him sending a plane to China so that they could reverse engineer our stuff. But if you follow the series that I'm going to be doing next week, that'll make a lot more sense why Clinton would do something like that. They say, "Oh yeah, it was just for campaign contributions." Selling your country out is not just for campaign contributions. You gotta, because the thing is, every president worries about how he's going to be remembered in history, and if he isn't remembered properly in history, then he's going to be upset. And so, to be a Benedict Arnold, he'd have to have good reason or good enticement to do it. And so if you guys watch that interview that I put up over on in the community chat, the Tucker Carlson interview, this will make a little bit more sense why Chinagate happened, because this is the time in which the Welsh said we're done with America, and they started moving out a long time ago, and that's how we really got hollowed out, not only through NAFTA and all these other things, but yeah, we got really hollowed out. Um, and yeah, it didn't work. So um, Maryland skirt in particular. Okay, Kennedy was a skirt chaser. Yeah. Well, you know what, Marilyn Monroe. My dad passed 2000, mom 2014, wife 2019. Remember about the dress stain? Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. Hey, at least I'm consistent on where I stand. I hate both parties. I can call them both out, which is nice because, the Republicans love it when I call out the Democrats, and the Democrats love it when I call out the Republicans, but I care about neither. Because, I mean, my grandfather, one of my biggest influences in life, not only in business, but in the way that I see the country, my grandfather was a World War II vet. Yeah, he's got some black stains. He was just like Robert KKK Byrd. Um, but he was a Republican. And until when Reagan had the Iran Contra scandal, that was when my grandfather left the Republican Party because he's like, I can no longer trust them anymore. Um, I thought I was getting an honest president by voting for a Republican, but I wasn't. And so he didn't believe the whole thing because he was the one that told me about he asked me the question, why was the presidential Bible with LBJ? LBJ had something to do with it. And my grandfather, because he grew up during that time. I mean, he just gotten out of the Navy. He spent the last 6 months in the Pacific Theater in World War II, and then spent another 18 months in the Korean War. And so, yeah, and for him that was a big deal because I mean, Kennedy was their golden boy, and yeah, it just that was the one question that he always asked me. But he made sure that I understood the Constitution as it was written, and to get away from the party line politics because both of them were destroying it, and the only way that you had to observe it privately. Those were the lessons. He made sure I understood the difference between a democracy and a republic. He made sure I understood that I had rights. And honestly, he owned 5 businesses, and then he went to law school just because he Constitution, it's a legal document. Same reason why I went and I read and I did all legal history. I just took a different type of schooling. And so my grandfather, had his law degree, and when I got my first ticket for riding the Max train without any fare, I told my grandfather about it, and he's like, dude, they get money from the government, so therefore they're getting funded from the public trust. And as being part of the public trust, because you're paying for it indirectly through your taxes, if you literally do not have money to get to where you need to go when you're going to work or do something productive, you're not just out on the town. Therefore, that is why you pay your taxes. And so in instances like that, you can still get back and forth to work. And I come to find out that most of these organizations, like the bus systems and stuff like that, they circumvent it by writing a clause in their agreements with the government that it becomes private property, although they're receiving funds, and therefore they do not have to follow the social norms of the public trust. And so therefore they're getting all this money, they're getting publicly subsidized and everything else like that. But at the end of the day, they're not accountable to anyone. They're just like the Federal Reserve. And that's your transportation system, folks. We haven't even gotten into the real stuff. Okay. Founding fathers figured we'd only last about a generation or two. It depends upon who you call a founding father, Craig. I don't think it's plural. I think it's singular. I think that, when you have a large amount of wealth, you're going to do everything you can to protect it. And if that means becoming the most powerful country in the world to protect that wealth, then you're going to create a system that's going to benefit you. So these people that we call our founding fathers, population 207, you know, they set up a system that would benefit them because they were the ones that instigated the war over the people. They were the ones that flamed the fire. They were the ones that were leading the rebellion. And because they were the leaders, then they got to shape it. And when they shaped it to benefit themselves, become a world power, protect wealth, which would become like a slippery snake because there were supposed to be safeguards in there to where protect the wealth, but not screw the people. See, under the monarchy, the king was still beholden to the people because his people could revolt. He's only got such a small army. That's what the peasant rebellions were all about, is to remind the king who was really in power. It was by consent of the governed through divine right, is that they believed that that man was put there by God. And so therefore, as long as he acted properly in God's name, therefore he was able to retain his power, versus the bureaucracy and the complete state power that we see now from the American style of government. um, it was designed to become a nationalist government, and that's what happened with the war, the Civil War in 1861. I myself, this is the history that I've learned. I've spent a long time understanding how we got here, and it's not something that should anger you, because it never angered me. Once I figured it out, I'm like, okay, well, rules for me are, those are the rules, so I now know how to play by them, and I've played by them for the most part. Every once in a while, I've had to go back to servitude for my own survival. I don't like it. Um, every man will have to make a choice: survive or perish on principles, and your survival instinct will kick in. Um, because instead of you gotta make choices, and sometimes you just gotta make a way. So how does it apply nowadays? The richest family in the colonies, old George married into. Yes, okay, okay. More about founding fathers, please. Who's influencing you? Oh, you probably can't find it anymore. It's been whitewashed off the internet. Um, uh, but you can find evidence of it in some writings like Weiss Concise Trustee Handbook. Lee Bropes is heavily cited there. He's also cited in most of your. He's also cited in most of your white papers on trust law. They will in economics classes. His Eye of the Eagle. The article that is he's most famous for is USA. Uh, the Republic, a house that no one lives in. It's a final rant after 2 years of writings. I read the whole 2 years worth of writings to understand what that rant was. To the average person, it makes it sound crazy, but if you follow through and read it and go look up the case law and the history, all of a sudden it starts making sense, and you start going, holy shit. Okay. Um, and he came about this information because he was a tax protester. He was in, ooh, we got, here, hold on. I'm going to give you guys a treat. Oh, no. Okay. I thought that was going to be the Apaches, not some civilian helicopter. Oops. But when it comes to how Lee Bropes got his information, so he was a tax protester. He even tells us, there's a little sidebar where he tells a story about how he gets the information as he's writing these articles. And one of the things that he was saying is that he went to prison being a tax protester using the 16th Amendment. And while he was in prison, there was a guy that wrote a letter, or wrote a newsletter, and it made it to the prison, and somebody read it, and lots of people read it. He was the only one that actually responded, and uh, what ends up happening is he ends up developing a relationship. The guy shares his information with him, and the guy that's telling him this says, look, I am on the inside. I am the guy that, he was saying that he handles their accounting. So he was their money man. He knew what was going on. He understood how the power worked. He said that he agreed with it, but he believed people should have at least a choice to choose. It basically goes back to the same old primal philosophy of consent of the governed. This is why the Donetsk region and all that other stuff will go to Russia, because there is age-old law that says it's consent of the governed. People who do not want to be governed by you, you cannot force it unless under military rule. And in order to have peace, you would have to have consent of the governed. And so that's why that's that big thing there. But anyways, he goes through this whole thing. Judge Andrew Napolitano, when he was doing Freedom Watch, at least during like the first year of his show, he really hammered home on a lot of the Freeman philosophy about the 14th Amendment citizen, about all this other stuff, because he was a federal judge. And there is, you know, federal law, or not federal law, there's case law out there that proves this case, because even the Supreme Court says that the Bill of Rights was designed to protect the citizens of the states from the federal government, not federal citizens from the federal government. So therefore, indicating that as a U.S. citizen, you are a federal citizen, therefore the Bill of Rights does not apply to you. So therefore, the conclusion is that you gave up your birthright as a citizen of the several states to become a citizen of the United States. Therefore, for a bowl of porridge, you traded your rights for benefits and privileges. And this is what most people don't understand. And they think that, oh, the system's geared up for you. No, no, no. Um, the average person just wants to exist and not really pay attention. They just want to live in their own little bubble. Well, we have not evolved to a system that allows people to do that. You have to have some sort of centralized control, governed set of rules, stuff like that. And then you've got the slippery slope. This is something that our founding father actually understood. But the most of my information that comes from American history, because it was so dense, and the understanding was so linear and concise, it made such perfect sense that I read history around that stuff just to get a deeper understanding of the psychology of why people would do what they did. But for the most part, no, it was one of those things that I don't know, I did it to learn. And again, I have taken that same information, I have applied that information. And by applying that information, I got proof that what I was studying was correct, because I would have never had the success that I had if I was following the wrong path. It's basically, what is it that they call it when you get confirmation through action? You know, I don't know what the technical word is, but anyways, yes, Yosemite's Sam gotten released yet? No, he's not. He's I sent you a copy of that letter. I don't think he's getting his from what I understand, his hearing is on the 5th, and my neighbors offered me a ride if I want to go in, and I think I might take him up on it. But I was waiting for a call from the judge, because usually the victim has to have the ability to show up or not. And so I'm waiting for them to reach out to me and offer me the ability to come there and present myself, because the state is acting on my behalf, or the county is acting on my behalf. Actually, this is a state crime. He's being charged with felonies. It goes to a state crime. Um, and I'm trying to get it pushed to a federal crime, which federal comes with heavier penalties. He won't even be allowed back here. Like, he'll go to prison somewhere else, and then once he gets out of prison, they'll cart him somewhere else in the United States. And that's if the country's still together by the time he gets out, because he might be locked in there in those bars. He is, I could let the universe exact revenge for me, or I could do it myself. And I'm not exacting revenge. I'm just using the full force of the law to remind somebody that this is not something you want to do. And hopefully this lesson is painful enough that he will learn never to do it again. Okay. Hopefully this is a learned lesson versus, continuing the same bad behavior. Corroboration. Okay. Federalist Papers. Yes. The Federalist. Oh, yes. I've read the Federalist Papers too. Federal Farmer, which I found out was Thomas Paine, reading the Federal Farmer is what made me a fan of Thomas Paine. That's why I like him so much. Those with the gold rule. That is capitalism, Craig. That's the formation of capitalism. Which didn't come around till like the 1850s or 60s. It was started in Germany. And then, in the 1870s, 1880s, we had a lot of big shifts. We had the Organic Act of 1871. And then we had the change of the corporate mandate from the benefit of the community to the sole purpose is for profit. And then there was, there was a third thing I was going to mention. It just Oh, and then we instituted capitalism, and capitalism reinforced the new corporate mandate and the fact that the United States was incorporated and is now supposed to be being ran like a business. We got politicians trying to run a business who have no business experience themselves. I mean, that's what's messed up. That's why Donald Trump was a good fit, at least his first time around. But again, he who has the capital makes the rules. He who influences your money supply makes the rules. He who makes your sets up your food supply rules you. So you have so many masters vying for your attention, one trying to put the screws on you harder than the next, all while shrouding themselves in the flag and freedom and constitution and all that other stuff. In reality, they're all snakes. Even Donald Trump. When was school forced? That was school was, I don't know. Oh, you talking about the Department of Education came in the 1950s. We had the 1930s to the 1950s was a big time because we had House Joint Resolution 192, which confiscated the gold, moved us from gold to legal tender. Now we were taking off the gold standard, but it was made official in 1971 under Nixon. Also, at that point in time, the Interstate Commerce Act of 1887 was amended in 1940 to include U.S. citizens, which therefore gave the federal government to lay and collect taxes, and then therefore within the next 10 years they would set up the IRS, the Department of Education, and this full-on bureaucracy, so that by the time Eisenhower came in, it had already been set, its roots were already there, and he couldn't do anything about it because Eisenhower did not like the administrative state. So, and then it's just been perpetuated ever since. It has been a way for the elites to rule. You talk about unelected bureaucrats. Who are those unelected bureaucrats influenced by? Those unelected bureaucrats are getting kickbacks and favors and special interests and special considerations when doing things because they're following the playbook. Now it makes it look like they're doing it on their own, but are they really? Or do they have a master themselves? And it's just about enriching themselves, not really thinking about the consequences of their actions because we're a me society. Truth, snakes all. Yes. Corroboration. Okay. Federalist Papers. Has Yosemite. Okay. Although this was not the goal of the goal of the founding fathers was and there's they committed treason. Okay. What the colonies fought for was the Articles of Confederation. They didn't fight for the Constitution. All that had to be done was the Articles of Confederation needed to be amended to include giving the right to lay and collect taxes so it could pay its war debt, and the right to coin money so that we had a stable currency. That's all it needed to do. That's all they were sent there to do. What they did is they created a whole new government. The Federalists were actually monarchists, and the Anti-Federalists were actually Federalists. Okay, Thomas Paine was the one that came up with our whole Federalist government in the first place. That's how the Articles of Confederation were formed, because of his influence. Okay, he was a great philosopher and a radical of his time. This isn't the first Revolutionary War that he helped spark or move the needle one way or another. He did the same thing in the 1803 French Revolution as well. Okay, so you had this group of people, and it's even evidence if you go and you look at what happened, and you can even find it today. The federal government was supposed to, the reason why it had its own seat of power in the District of Columbia to be without the state, so it wasn't influenced by any one state, was to mean that that is the United States, and the several states are independent sovereign states that get to act autonomously but are bound by certain rules of a union. That is the United States. That is what we signed up for. That is what the American Revolution, that was the end result that we wanted as a people. History shows this. But what ends up happening is not only does Alexander Hamilton dupe George Washington into bringing the first bank of the United States, which was our first central bank, but we had the screws put to us because of the turmoil and the two missing parts to the Articles of Confederation. And so the Jefferson and all of them, they wanted a strong national government. That's why the Bill of Rights was never added to it. If it wasn't for Thomas Paine and the true Federalists, also known as the Anti-Federalists, we would have never had the Bill of Rights. And you think it's bad now. Imagine we could have been here 100 years ago, okay? Because what it did is it set the foundation for the federal government to keep doing power grabs, okay? For the federal government to actually maintain control. And so what they did is they put a federal overlay, a federal territorial overlay over each one of the states. If you don't believe me, go look and go look at any state constitution pre-1861, and you will find two things. You'll find an interesting 13th Amendment. Some states it might be 14 or 15 because they did other amendments because they really liked what Thomas Paine had to say. But you will see no titles of nobility. Post Civil War, the Constitution went from for the United States to of the United States, which is a derivative, which means the United States is dead. So this is the Constitution of it. This is what's left of the rubble. And they rewrote it, put in a new 13th Amendment, put in the 14th and 15th Amendment as well. And the southern states were told that they could come back and put down arms, but yet the federal government forced them in order to rejoin the Union, to accept the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, which under law, historically, judicial precedence is set when somebody does something under threat of duress, i.e. they've got a gun to their head, therefore whatever they agree to is no longer binding. And there's been a subtle fight that's been going on in this country for over 100 years about the legality and the ability for the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment because of the way it was forced on the states after a promise was broken. Okay, and so this is a big thing that goes on behind closed doors that most people don't know about. But there was a federal overlay, so that means there's no metes and bounds. In order for a state to be a sovereign state, it has to have metes and bounds. Go look at any constitution, any governing document in the world. It has its metes and bounds. It outlines its borders within its metes and bounds. Even when you buy a piece of property, you get metes and bounds. That's how I know where to look for my stakes. Metes and bounds means it's yours. When they just do an overlay and say this is the state of Texas, well, it's not really the state of Texas because it doesn't have metes and bounds. It's of the United States. It's not for the United States. Okay, so I mean, but that's just that. I think I'm becoming a Thomas Paine fan now too. Yeah. What's up, Jago? Nice to see you. Beth, Common Sense is available on YouTube and is an audiobook, only a couple of hours. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about Thomas Paine is he just repeats himself and repeats himself and repeats himself. He just keeps taking the same thing, regurgitating it and repeating himself. Like, okay, I've got 3 pages to write, but I'm going to turn this into 30 pages, so I'm going to repeat myself 10 times. And I'm just going to rewrite how I repeat myself, but say the same damn thing. I mean, literally, within the first quarter of the book, you pretty much understand everything he's got to say. My favorite book of Thomas Paine, though, was Age of Reason. One of my favorite quotes is that if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, then it's probably false. It's probably fantasy. Because he was calling out the Christian religion on how contradictory it was. It couldn't even explain its own doctrine, such as the Trinity. Yeah, those are some of the few books I've read all the way through. Really it was. But yeah, Age of Reason is definitely really, really good. All right, guys. We've gone over an hour. I was actually kind of close up like 30 minutes ago, but you guys get me on a rant. That's what we're here for. All right, guys. I want to say thank you for being here. We will see you at 8 o'clock tonight, Eastern time. It'll be me and my old man. We'll be doing a collaboration. If something changes, we'll figure it out. I will see you guys tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for being here, guys. Yeah, have a good one, Rebels. You really need to survive. I did not know that, Beth.